On identifying functions, linear or nonlinear. So determine if the relationship is a function or not. If it is a function, determine if it's linear or nonlinear. So number one, first of all, if we look at the pattern here, we see that that's going to be positive 8. We see that that's positive 2. So there is no pattern of our y's. Now, if we look at our x's, we notice that there's no x being used twice. So automatically, we know that there won't be any vertical line if we graph it. So this is a function. Now we have to determine if it's a linear function. So we're going to graph. So I am going over 2 and down -3. So right there. I'm going over 3 and up 5. So 2 points makes a line, so we always have to have a third point. I'm going over 5 and up 7. And so you can see right there that these 3 points do not make a line. So this is going to be non-linear. Number 2, we have a graph. So if we use our vertical line test, we can see that there is no point on our graph where 2 points are intersected at one time by our vertical line. You can see it's only 1 point each time. So this is a function, and it obviously is nonlinear. It makes a curve. Number 3, well, this function is already written in slope-intercept form, so of course I know it's a function. It doesn't have an exponent, so we know it's linear. So some of these problems, you simply have to have studied your notes and you'll know the answer without doing any work. Number 3, or 4. So here we have an equation, but it has an exponent. So right off the bat, we know that it curves. So we know it's nonlinear, but let's see if it's a function. So we're going to go ahead and do a function table and graph it. So let's start out at -2 and then -1, 0, 1, 2. I'm using 5 of these. So let's substitute. So -2 in for x means -2 times -2 is 4. We have our -3 times 4 is -12. And -12 plus -2 is -14. So if I go ahead and graph this, I'm at -2, -14. And that would bring that -2 down to somewhere right about here. So we're off the graph a little bit. That's fine. Okay, let's go to -1. So if we substitute -1 in there, -1 times -1 is +1. -3 times +1 is -3. -3 plus -2 is -5. So let's plot this one to be -1, -5, right there. Okay, let's put those in. Okay, if I substitute 0 in for x, 0 times 0 is 0. -3 times 0 is 0. And then I'm adding -2, so we'd have 0, -2. So there's even a y-intercept on curves. Okay, substitute 1 in. 1 squared is 1. -3 times 1 is -3. -3 plus -2 is -5. So I'm back down to here. And then if I go ahead and substitute 2 in, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times -3 is -12. And -12 plus -2 is -14. So you see that when we have a square, our y's can repeat, but our x's still didn't. And that's okay. That's still a function. So now if we were to plot that point would be somewhere down here. So again, if we go ahead and connect these, we see that we have some kind of a shape like this. And if you do your vertical line test, you'll see that there aren't any points that are intersected twice. So it is a function, it's just non-linear. Okay, so function and nonlinear. Okay, number 5. Well, we notice that we have the x's twice. So that's a problem because our definition is every x has to give you a unique y, but we notice that our y's are different, so it doesn't in this case. So this is not a function. So we don't have to worry about whether it's a line or not because it's not a function. Okay, number 6. Well, this is a horizontal line. We know if we do the vertical line test that it won't intersect this graph at more than one point at a time. So we know this is a function. And of course, it makes a straight line, so it's linear. The computer's a teeny bit slow using this software, so please bear with me. Number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, and number 11 I want you to do on your own, and we'll go ahead and discuss them tomorrow. So these are the 6 problems that will be on your quiz. So it should be fairly easy to get a good score, and you have to, of course, do the rest of the problems to get credit.